All right, welcome in everyone to a deep dive, unlike any other you've been on with us before.
Yeah, we've had some pretty wild deep dives, but I
Yeah.
think this one takes the cake.
The stuff you guys send in on this one, it's incredible. As always, we're going to guide you through the absolute wildest and most interesting things that we found in that material.
Yeah, I mean, we've got stacks of stuff here, but we went through it all.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And today's subject is, well, let's just say it's shrouded in mystery.
Literally.
Literally. The Sree Padmanabhaswamy Temple in Kerala, India, and specifically, we're talking about the last unopened vault there.
The one and only Kallara B.
Dun, dun, dun.
There it is.
So back in 2011, right, a bunch of other vaults in this temple were opened, and they found an unbelievable amount of wealth.
Oh, yeah. Treasures, gold, diamonds, you name
It's
it.
just an insane amount of riches,
Yeah.
right? And naturally, everyone started wondering, what's in this last vault, Kallara B? That's what we're going to unpack today.
That's right. What are the main theories swirling around Kallara B? What evidence do people point to? We'll look at that. And then, what are the more skeptical viewpoints?
Yeah, gotta have both sides. And of course, we'll dive into the psychology of it all. Why are we so drawn to this mystery?
Yeah, what is it about this particular story that just grabs hold of people?
Exactly. So let's dive right in. First things first, this vault, Kallara B, it's believed to be the only one that hasn't been opened for centuries.
Centuries at least.
Maybe even millennia, right? We're talking about a space that has potentially been untouched for thousands of years.
Thousands. Now, think about that for a second. That alone, that idea, it's so powerful. It turns this vault from just a room into like a time capsule.
Oh, totally. A time capsule packed with who knows what. And then you add the fact that the other vaults had all those incredible treasures.
Right. Makes you wonder what could be in Kallara B that would make it even more, significant.
It's got to be something huge to leave it untouched.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not just about money. A lot of the theories go way beyond that.
Oh, yeah. Much deeper. It's about like a mythical significance. The stuff you sent, there's talk of ancient artifacts.
Oh, yeah.
Religious relics, like super important religious relics, even secrets that people think could rewrite history.
Like change everything we know about the past.
Exactly. And, that speaks to something deep in us, right? This need to understand where we come from, to find meaning in our history.
Totally. Unopened spaces like Kallara B, they become blank canvases for our imaginations. We fill them with these hopes, these fears, these possibilities of discovering something that will change everything.
It's like we're hardwired to be fascinated by the unknown. So we've got this potentially untouched vault for thousands of years, maybe filled with incredible treasures and secrets.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another layer to this whole thing.
Oh, yeah, the danger zone. A lot of the stuff you sent talked about curses.
Right. Like straight up divine wrath on anyone who tries to open Kallara B.
And not just like bad luck. We're talking potentially catastrophic consequences.
For individuals, for the world, it's pretty intense.
It really makes you think, like, is it worth the risk?
Yeah, it's a powerful deterrent. And it raises the question, where did these beliefs come from? Are they super old, or did they pop up more recently? I'm curious, did any of the stuff you sent in touch on the origins of these cursed beliefs, specifically about Kallara B, or even just this temple in general?
Some of the material did mention that curses and stories like that, they often serve to protect sacred places. It's like a psychological barrier reinforcing a physical one.
Oh yeah, like, hey, don't even think about going in there.
Exactly. And then it gets even more interesting because it's not just a curse, right? Some of the material talked about guardians and protectors.
Yeah, not just some divine force, but ancient spirits, maybe even a secret society dedicated to keeping this vault sealed.
Like a real-life national treasure situation.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
Kallara B is the sacred trust guarded for centuries, maybe millennia. And then there's this whole other idea, this theory that inside Kallara B, there's this hidden knowledge.
Oh yeah, the ancient texts, the lost prophecies, that stuff is so intriguing. It's like, what could be in there that could unlock these deep secrets about humanity? Maybe even tell us about our future.
It's like a blueprint for the universe, maybe. And think about the wider implications of all this. The stuff you sent in mentioned the political and social impact, right?
Like this vault could potentially change religious beliefs, cultural identities, even shift global power dynamics.
Right. We're not just talking about a historical curiosity here. This is something with potentially huge consequences.
Which of course leads us to the cover-up theory. So many people believe that governments, temple authorities, they're all hiding the truth about Kallara B.
Oh yeah, the classic "they don't want us to know" narrative.
It's a recurring theme in a lot of these mysteries, right?
Sure.
But it's interesting how people interpret all sorts of things as evidence for these theories.
Right. Like, there are these historical records and local legends about the temple, about Kallara B.
And they're seen as proof that this vault is super special, super dangerous to mess with.
And it's not just stories. The architecture of the vault itself, it has these unusual features.
Yeah, like the entrance is sealed, there are no visible locks.
Right. And to believers, that's not just a design choice. It's a deliberate measure to make sure the vault stays closed.
Like it's been supernaturally sealed. And then you have the astrological stuff. Some people believe that the timing of any attempt to open Kallara B has to be perfect.
Yeah, like the stars have to align, otherwise, boom, disaster.
It's almost like the universe is protecting this vault. And then there are the personal stories, the people who claim to have had visions, dreams, paranormal experiences.
Goofy stuff.
Yeah. And while it's hard to verify any of that, it definitely adds to the mystery.
Oh yeah, it reinforces the whole don't mess with Kallara B vibe.
Yeah.
And then there's this one thing that really fuels the speculation. There's a lack of concrete documentation about what's actually inside Kallara B.
So people see that as proof of a cover-up. Like,
Yeah.
they're hiding something from us.
They don't want us to know. And you can't ignore the context here. This temple, it's huge, it's ancient.
It just feels like a place where secrets could be hidden, you know? Kallara B becomes the focus for all that mystery.
Right. It's like this one point where all these theories converge. But now let's step back a bit and look at the other side of the coin.
Yeah, let's get skeptical.
Because when you really break it down, the main counterargument is simple. There's a lack of verifiable evidence for a lot of these theories.
It's mostly speculation, interpretation, and anecdotal stuff.
Right. Where's the hard proof? And the skepticism extends to the whole curse thing.
Some people might say that those beliefs are based on misunderstandings of ancient texts, or maybe exaggerations that have evolved over time.
Yeah, like those texts were written in a different time with different cultural contexts. Maybe they're not meant to be taken literally.
And the architectural stuff, the sealed entrance, all that. Maybe there are more practical explanations that we just don't understand yet.
Exactly. It's easy to jump to supernatural conclusions when you don't have all the information. And here's where it gets really interesting. We have to consider our own psychology, our tendency to believe in these grand, hidden narratives.
It's almost more satisfying to believe in the extraordinary, right?
Right. It's way more fun to think there's a secret society protecting a vault full of treasures and ancient knowledge.
Than to think it's just, an empty room or something.
Exactly. And, some of the stuff you sent talked about how it's almost impossible to prove a negative.
Like you can't prove that there isn't a curse or that Kallara B doesn't hold these incredible secrets.
Which means the doubt always lingers. So let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture, the sociological factors that might be feeding into this whole mystery.
Like, why are we so drawn to this story in the first place?
Well, part of it is definitely the treasure angle. The fact that the other vaults were filled with so much wealth, it fuels the imagination.
Like, if there's that much already, what else could be out there?
Right. The possibilities seem endless. And then there's our fascination with ancient mysteries.
We love the idea of uncovering lost knowledge, of connecting with the past in some profound way.
It makes us feel like we're part of something bigger than ourselves. And you can't underestimate the power of religious belief in all of this.
Oh yeah. For a lot of people, the temple and Kallara B are sacred, and there's a genuine fear of divine repercussions for disturbing them.
It's like a deep-seated respect, a reverence that makes people hesitant to even consider opening the vault.
And then there's that distrust of authority that comes up in a lot of conspiracy theories.
The belief that the government or the temple authorities are hiding something.
Which ties into that bigger societal trend of skepticism towards institutions. And of course, the media plays a role too.
Oh yeah. Documentaries, news reports, online discussions, they all amplify the mystery, spread the theories further.
It creates this feedback loop of speculation. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's really important to remember the potential dangers and implications of all these beliefs.
Absolutely. First and foremost, we have to be sensitive to the cultural and religious significance of this temple and this vault.
It's a site of deep reverence for a lot of people. We can't just barge in with our skepticism and disregard their beliefs.
And there's always the risk of exploitation. Some people might try to use this mystery for their own gain,
Yeah, like treasure hunters or people trying to sell fake artifacts or something.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of misinformation, which can be really damaging.
Especially in a sensitive context like this. It could lead to misunderstandings, misinterpretations of religious practices, even conflict.
It's a reminder that we need to be careful with how we engage with these mysteries, to approach them with respect and critical thinking.
So there you have it, the Kallara B mystery. It's a fascinating mix of ancient history, religious belief, and modern-day speculation.
It's a story about the unknown, our desire to find meaning, and maybe even our tendency to see patterns where there are none.
It's a reminder of how powerful the human imagination can be. And that's what makes it so compelling.
Absolutely. So now, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
What aspect of the Kallara B mystery do you find the most intriguing?
What resonates most with you?
Share your thoughts with us. We'd love to hear your perspectives on this enduring puzzle.
Yeah, let's keep this conversation going.
Let us know what you think.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.